All right, everybody. Welcome back tonight to another live stream with the Brick Stop. That's me and Andrew from Brick Monarch. We're going to be doing another Let's Talk About Lego episode. And yeah, we're coming at you live tonight on Monday. So thanks so much for joining in, guys. As usual, I will get Brick Monarch in here. And we'll start. Hello, hello, hello.
Hey.
Hey. Welcome back, my friend.
Yes. Wild West.
Wild West. Yeah, so that's what we're talking about tonight is Wild West. Kind of a unique Lego theme. Not really talked about that much anymore. It doesn't seem like. So
it was really cool when it released.
Yeah. I'm really excited about this theme and this talk tonight because it's one of my top favorite themes. I mean, it's up there with Castle Pirate and Adventures. It's Wild West, and then it's space and such. So top 5. It's in my top 5. I love this theme. So yeah, Wild West, man. Ran from 1996 to 97. With a couple sets released again in 2002 for part of the Lego Legacy. I think it was called like Legacy Edition or something like that. I can't remember the exact term they used.
Well,
but it was like
the Barracuda and the Guarded Inn re-release was Legend.
Legends, that's what it is. You got it. Lego Legends then also released 3 of the Wild West sets and the Islanders set. And maybe a train or something too. There was like a whole little grouping for a couple years in Lego Legends before they got rid of it, which I liked that. Just to jump off topic instantly, that would be cool to see again, huh? Like Lego Legends.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be sick. I'd love to see that.
Pull up some different sets.
Yeah, like one or two a year of just an old retired set that they
like the Futron monorail.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right. So the odd thing about the Wild West was I was still collecting at the time.
Yeah.
But it was around the same period of time that the UFOs released.
Okay. Yeah.
And I remember in '96, I actually had a girlfriend. And I was driving. I was just then driving. So I was like, Wild West or date. Wild West or date.
Sure.
So I ended up going on more dates than I did by Wild West, but that was back in the day when Toys R Us actually had the big displays of the new themes.
Yeah.
And Wild West was in the display in Toys R Us.
Looking back, you're like, nah, the dates weren't worth it. Wild West all the way. No.
The dates weren't worth it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we got, hey, welcome Lego Den. The Lego Den, he asked what car were you driving at the time?
Dude, it was a 1984 S10.
Nice.
5-speed.
That's awesome. And then we got a comment, most underrated theme, period. It's up there with some of the more underrated ones.
Yeah,
sure.
It's good. I mean, it's good. Obviously, I'm just not super into that. Not as nearly as much as I am medieval, but man, great sets, great ideas for sets.
A lot of I
great
did
parts, new prints, all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah, totally. You mentioned right a second ago, great sets, and I think that's actually very true in the sense that they were not just good to look at. They were loaded with all kinds of cool little features that was obviously, like, I mean, that's kind of what they did with Lego, but like a lot of them had a ton of very interesting play features that I think made them even more interesting.
Yeah, blowing out the side of the jail cell.
Yeah, dude, the dynamite function, that was so cool.
It is cool.
That's unreal. We'll get to that when we talk about the Western one, or the sheriff's office one. But yeah, let's actually run down the sets and kind of give our thoughts on those. Just checking out the.
All right. So 96, smallest to largest, Sheriff's Lockdown, 6712.
Sheriff's Lockup or Lockdown? Oh, is it Lockdown?
Showdown. Sheriff's Showdown. Sorry.
I was reading something completely different. I'm like, wait a minute. Sheriff Showdown. Yes.
Yeah,
Is that's the one
little
with
tiny mini set, couple pieces of dynamite, a horse, sheriff, and one bandit.
So it looks like in that scene we have one of the bandits got away. He set up a little base camp, and the sheriff rolled up on him.
Yep. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but did the big barrels come out with the Wild West?
Absolutely, yes. To be honest, they came out with Wild West, and they weren't featured that heavily on anything else for quite a while after that.
No, I mean I've got a bunch of them.
Yeah, same here. That was not quite as one of the go-tos for the as the rope bridge was for me, but it was the we're getting a little ahead of it, but the stump, the hollowed out stump, and those barrels, those two little features. As a kid, looking at that stuff, man, hiding the little minifigs, having them pop out. That was one of the parts I always wanted to get.
Yeah, I did. I always liked the tree stump.
Yeah, the tree stump's amazing.
But I think if I may not be correct, but the barrel was used in the Wild West, and then I don't think it came back out with anything until Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit.
I want to say it may have been used as engines on some Star Wars sets in like light gray or dark gray. I could be wrong because they use big wheels and stuff.
Yeah,
too.
maybe. Yeah, I mean, I'm not 100% sure. I just know that the Wild West had these big barrels, and the dwarf. The dwarf rabbit, the barrel rider.
Yeah.
Barrel rider thing.
Yep. Yeah, the little one where you like turn the lever and the barrels roll off the ramp.
Yeah.
From The Hobbit. Yes. Yeah, they're definitely pretty heavily featured in The Hobbit, and they do show up. I'd have to get a list. They're not that heavily used in Lego, but they're also not that expensive or hard to get a hold of either, which is kind of
no, you can find them on Bricklink.
Yeah, they're not too bad, but
pretty cool little set.
Yeah, love it. You got the two quintessential Wild West figures, the sheriff and the bandit.
Yeah. So then the next one up in size is the covered wagon, which was the soldiers.
Yeah, dude.
Which was super cool.
That's the one fabric. The new fabric printed cavalry wagon. They called it a weapons wagon. They may have re-released it under another name a little later too. Supply wagon, I think, but I could be wrong on that. But dude,
the Lego Den says so. Wild West is technically Western. Technically, it's Western, but they had the Wild West symbol on like the little mini catalogs when they released.
Yeah, it is Western. You're right. It is called Western most prevalently. I do believe that I've seen, like you said, some branding that used Wild West, but it may have been mostly in terminology and less the logo. The logo is Western. So, but like, for instance, to prove my point, we have in the old Lego Mania magazine, Wild West.
Yeah.
It's right across the front there. Of course, it's backwards in the camera, isn't it?
It was the same way in the mini books.
Okay. Yeah, but if you look up the theme, like on any other like website information or whatever, it's just Western in the same type of wooden bracket. Also, this is very cool. This is a Lego Mania magazine from that time period of when they were released. And yeah, we have Wild West up here. Of course, it's backwards again, but this featured a lot of the kits, as well as some comics and other things. And we can look at a couple pictures as we talk about some of these sets. So what was next here? Sheriff Lockup was a gem. Oh, sorry, I'm reading James 5 Westman. I'm reading comments now. Yes, Sheriff's Lockup was a gem. Actually have it on display to this day. Same here, except for I pilfered one of the black. Is it the black windows out of it? I think it's the black arch windows. Mm-hmm. The frames in black are really hard to get a hold of. I think they only come in 2 sets, and I didn't realize that, so I took one of them out.
Ooh, but that's interesting. I didn't know that.
I didn't. I just remembered that right now because I used some in my Dungeoneers builds, and I was trying to build one of my Dungeoneer sets, and I was like, why did I use black ones? I thought they were common. They're not that common. So, Lady Bricks. I think his car was black and red and dropped to the ground. Nice. That's going back to your date car, your date mobile.
Dude. Yeah, had a few slam trucks in my day.
Nice. Let's see. Where is Logan says, what's your thoughts on Lego rolling out subscription services being able to order old sets? So that jumps back to the kind of the little thing I said earlier about doing the Lego Legends.
Legend, yeah.
Similar, yeah. They've been testing. They've floated this idea of doing a subscription base where you pay 5, 10, 15 a month, something like that, and it gives you access to retired sets. I don't know what that actually means. But it's a subscription. And I would honestly say, in my opinion, yes, please. And that's the only thing I care about.
Is that something that's actual news that's listed
Yeah.
somewhere?
Yeah. If you go on, it might not be still available, but like about a month ago, Lego VIP program had like a survey you could do, and you could select your different type of plan if you were interested, and like talk about, you'd select different like multiple choice questions to talk about what you'd like to see in a subscription. And like 90% of the subscription was like direction, creative, like talking about like basically like a Lego life coach. And I'm like, none of that sounds interesting to me. But there was that one feature of like access to pre-orders, gift with purchases, and access to retired Lego sets.
Access to retired Lego sets should be number one, and that should be the only thing.
That's the thing. Like they're yeah. Lego's really focused on this whole lifestyle thing, whereas like a lot of us, especially like you and I and people in our kind of age bracket, I suppose, they're like, yeah, we don't want any of that other stuff. We just want the access to the old kids. And it seems like they should just make a program that's basically just that. But either way, I think it would be very cool. Yeah, I'd love to see it happen.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
And they are testing, like they're putting their feelers out for something like that.
Boy, oh boy, that'd change the value of some things, wouldn't it?
Oh, that was in the comment section. People were like, oh boy, those scalpers, those resellers, they're going to get mad. I'm like, well, yeah, but there's always going to be something there for everybody.
Right?
Yeah. Let's see. It says the big barrels haven't been used since 2014. Was that when Hobbit came out?
Yes.
Interesting. Well, there you go. So yeah, they're not used that often, I guess. Yeah, I know they come in a couple different colors.
I started dating Crystal in 2014, and that's when I picked up the Hobbit at Toys R Us.
There you go. So yeah, it's a little bit of lore. They showed up on Wild West Lego sets in 1996, and I don't think they're necessarily considered a discontinued piece, but they're currently not available from Lego.
Yeah, which brings me to the next set, which is Sheriff's Lockup. It also has a barrel, a big barrel.
They put them in pretty heavily.
Something about jumping out of barrels, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, and they feature the little cowboy hanging out there in his little barrel, popping out. And what was fun is if you sat him down and put the brown cowboy hat on him, it almost looked kind of like a lid inside, and then you could make him jump out. So it was kind of funny.
So we were chatting about this earlier. This theme was heavily stickered.
Yes.
Had some prints, but all the window prints on this and the sign were all stickers.
Yeah. So here's the thing about it. They went heavy on design across the board with printed fabric, printed bricks, and a lot of stickers. So it wasn't just, we went heavy on stickers. It was a huge combination. And at one point, they're probably like, look, if we print all these bricks for the signs, there's just too much printing. So they went stickers for some of those.
Well, yeah, it was, because they had signs on all the buildings.
Right. Although I think, I could be wrong, but I think the sign on the fort was a print.
Yeah, I believe so. But it was just a tile, wasn't it?
No, they have I think it was 2x6 or 2x8 with the name of the fort, like up on the headquarters. But
does anybody in the comments know the accurate answer to that question?
Yeah, let us know for sure.
Fort Legorado sign, was that printed or a decal?
I have it. I just can't remember 100% if it was a sticker.
No, I never had that one. I've got the Sheriff's Lockup. I know.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yes, I got that one for Christmas when it came out. So in '96, I guess my grandma got that for me. Man, I played with that. I lost. Unfortunately, I played with it so much I lost like 2 or 3 of the handguns, which was a big bummer because, like, man, I loved those so much. But I remember scouring my house, looking in every crack and corner for those handguns. But
Yeah, I mean, those handguns are like the size of like a 44 Magnum, man, to the minifig.
yeah, they're giant.
They are big. They are big revolvers.
Beefy guns for sure. Well, and jumping into that whole topic, this was the first time Lego represented any type of firearm that was even resembling a modern day firearm.
Yeah.
Not quite up to date, but it's really close. With the rifle and the
it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot closer than the muskets that we had with the pirates.
Yeah, so this was a step a lot of people see in the direction of being less their whatever values of saying they'll never.
I mean, because you can ride that revolver all the way up into like Dick Tracy, Batman.
Yeah,
vintage.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, here's the thing though. They released a minigun, or not a minigun. They released a Tommy gun in the Batman sets. It's got a round like drum mag on it and everything. I'm like, get out of here! I don't even want to hear it anymore. Like,
right.
Don't get me on a rant about Lego not supporting violent things or like action, and then like, dude, every good story has conflict, and Lego knows that. You're not gonna sell anything if there's no conflict, and conflict a lot of the times is depicted in some sort of violent nature. Anyway, don't get me started too much on that, but this is a step in that direction we see from Lego. First time they really were like, kind of modern looking weapons here. Yeah. So it was a big thing. People did bring it up quite a bit.
The cool thing about this Sheriff's Lockup is you get that 1x2 tile with the cards, like the card hand, right? And then you also get the 1x2 tile of the wanted poster.
Yep. And the dynamite. You get all three.
And the dynamite print.
Yeah. Sheriff's Lockup,
which is a shame. Which is a shame. I mean, the dynamite print was cool, but like, Rock Raiders came out and they had the printed dynamite. But then we get to the adventures, and then later on, there's actually dynamite. That's a dynamite piece.
Yeah.
Did that come out with the Power Miners?
I think it came out with Power Miners and then came out again on several other series, including Lone Ranger, which we'll talk about a little later. But yeah. So the molded dynamite's very cool. I love the nostalgia of the printed tile, but where Lego is at when they came out with molded dynamite, it made a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. And still, all the Western rocking those gold coins.
Dude, yes. Gold coins, and I think they mixed it with the $100 cash.
Yep. There's lots of $100 cashes in there.
Yeah, I was talking to you a little earlier, and I wasn't sure if they showed up first on Wild West or if there was a series or a set that they came out first on, like City. And I think it might have been in City first, but I don't know.
I think that did come out in City.
Okay, so anyone in the comments, if we can get to reading them, then let us know if you think the $100 bill 1x2 tile print came out in Wild West or City. I didn't see anywhere saying that it came out in Wild West, so it might have been before that. Lego Creator, welcome, my friend. I've been watching his crazy reels. He's been throwing some gasoline, dude. He's been throwing gasoline on the fire with those Star Wars ones. But I'm like all about it. I'll support that all day long.
Yeah,
no, I'm a Star Wars fan too, but I'll acknowledge when things are out of hand.
Well, I mean, they're doing the same thing with Harry Potter.
True, especially this new set release wave they talked about coming out, like I think either summer or late this year. They're
Dumbledore's office is coming back out.
Well, dude, they're doing another Horntail.
Another Horntail.
Like a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Anyways, that's another rant for another time.
I think that Harry Potter, though, gets a little bit more of a pass because it died for quite a while and then came back. Star Wars hasn't, and they've done the same thing.
I know. They have been shoving Star Wars down my throat for like over a decade.
Years.
Yeah, 20 years I've been seeing that junk on the shelves.
And it's the same stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna get into Star Wars. I could literally talk about Lego Star Wars and what's wrong with it for an hour. So I'm not gonna even talk about it. But it's been the same stuff for 20 years. Citibank, there you go. Lego Den pulled it up for us. Thank you. So $100 bill came out of the Citibank, and I think that was It was very close to Wild West, but I think it might have come out a little earlier than Wild West.
Yeah, it had that classic bank feel, like a Monopoly bank.
Is that the one that you had or have talked about before?
No.
Oh, that's a different one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So moving on, Bandit Secret Hideout, which is like a mine.
Yes. That's a super cool set.
Very cool. It's got that printed plate. Yes.
So here we go. This guy, yeah, we got the printed road plate, which was amazing with the wagon wheels on it, or the wagon ruts down here.
Yep. Super rad plate. And there's that big ass barrel again.
Whoops, there's a castle set inside. But yeah, so it would open up here, and
what a nice treat.
Yeah, this is a special treat inside. So these are alternative builds, I believe, for it right in here.
Yeah.
Is that what that is? Even down here?
I think so.
No, that's the actual set. I think the alternative builds are up here. Or no, these are all the same set. Never mind. These are all the features shown right here. I'll try and get a close up on there. You can see some of the bandits, the gold, all of the parts that we're talking about. We'll get to more of these parts too, like the chrome bugles, which were awesome. So these are all the features of that kit, and then I think on the back, yeah, here's the back. We got the alternative builds here. So
I really like how they use the barrel, like it's one of those classic watering, like a water trough thing, to where you go up and like get water.
They did it here
too. You know, rainwater.
Yep.
Super cool. And then I think that this was the first set that came out with the horn, the gold horn.
The bugle, yeah, like the bugle, like the chrome bugle or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it the first set that came with it? Well, they were all released though together, right? With the Fort too, so.
Yeah, but I don't think one didn't come in the Gold City Junction. I think you got one in the Fort Legorado.
Yeah, one in the Fort Legorado, one in this one. What is it? What Bandit Secret Hideout?
Yeah,
and then one next year, I think. Yeah.
So pretty cool. I love the gold mine sign up on top and the keep out tiles.
Yeah, the keep out tiles printed and the gold mine sign is a sticker. So they did a big mix of a lot of printed stuff, but they also subbed it out with some stickers. So. Yeah, he said Brick Star official says the Patrol 2, which came out the next year.
Yeah, I think that was 97, right?
Yeah.
So moving on from that, we've got the Gold City Junction.
Dude, one of the coolest Lego sets ever, man.
It is one of the coolest Lego sets.
Gold City Junction is awesome. Also, let's just say real quick here, every set had features, like play features out the butt. Like these things were crazy. And the Gold City Junction and the Sheriff Station both had dynamite features with springs inside of these foundations of these buildings that you could push a piece of that tile dynamite into the side of the building and a chunk of the wall would fly off.
Which is awesome.
It's awesome. You could do it to the Sheriff Station in the jail, and you could do it in the bank. You could blow the bank vault off the side of the bank with these dynamite pieces. And you could do it in the bank wagon. You could stick a piece of dynamite inside the bank, the safe box on the stagecoach, and it would shoot the back of the wagon off, and the safe would fly out the back.
Dude,
so they used it almost
that little bank wagon, man. It's like loaded up with like heavy artillery.
I know they didn't. Isn't that the one with the guns mounted on top?
It's got 3 mounted guns on the top of it.
I think that was Lego's representation of like a Gatling gun.
As if they would have Gatling guns out in the West.
Like, because they have it up here too. It's the same, almost the exact same build right up here.
Yeah.
So I could see that being like, back in like John Wayne days, you got the guys with the Gatling guns on the rafts or whatever, and they're just like, there's this one movie, they have a Gatling gun on a raft and they're going down a river and he's just like, anyway, it's pretty fantastic. But yeah, so that's what you get to see. I think that's Lego's like depiction of those Gatling guns without actually making a Gatling gun.
Again, with the barrel, the big giant barrel.
Yep.
In this set, One of the
Yeah.
other cool features about this Gold City Junction is the black wheels.
Oh yeah, that's
I
right.
love the black wheels.
Did the black wheels originated here?
I believe so.
I think so. Because I don't think they have them on any castle sets.
No, I don't think so, man. And I've got quite a few of these black wheels, and I mean I know that they're coming from these sets, but they're fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that wheel, and I love the fact that it came in 2 sizes, just like the brown.
Yep.
But it just looks great in black.
Yeah. So you can see here's the stagecoach. There's a little slot on the back side where you can push a piece of dynamite in, and the whole back of this thing flies off. A great feature, and I love how they used it throughout the whole theme as like almost like a little like key or something you could use in different sets to blow stuff up.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah. Gold City Junction, amazing. Got the bank, you got the general store. Both are fairly sparsely detailed inside. There's like maybe a gun rack and like a cup inside the general store. And there's like a bank vault in the bank with like a little safe, and that's about it.
Well, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of they didn't do a whole lot of detail interior back in those days anyway.
No, I think there's like,
that was normal.
Got like the pickaxe and the shovel and little barrels and stuff by the general store, which to be honest,
Yeah.
I mean, what else did they have in the Wild West anyway? That was basically it.
Baskets
Guns
of
and
booze,
shovels.
booze,
Guns, and shovels. Yeah, they didn't really.
booze, guns, and cards. Let's see. They got cards and guns.
That's true. And they have coffee mugs. They didn't really do any, like, that's one thing, like, with that new bottle piece, the green glass bottle piece they have now, add a few of these in here, you've got the whole thing. That's all you need.
Yeah, I love that. I've actually got the glass bottle from the Alice in Wonderland CMF.
Yeah, with a
that
little.
says "Drink Me" on the side.
I love it.
I love this bottle so much. Like it's not even part of the collection. It's right here in front of me.
That's awesome. I have one as well. I have just one somewhere.
Yeah, me too. And that's it. I just showed it to you. I know exactly where it is at all times.
Nice. I love it. We need more horses. Yeah, actually, that's a fair point. That's my wife. She coming on here. I didn't think about that, but there's not that many Lego horses in Lego right now.
No, but I mean, we have that new horse carrier with the dark orange, right?
And it's a decent price. Like if you weren't just trying to buy the horse separately, it's a good price. It's like in a $30 set.
And then you have the tan horse from the blacksmith shop.
Right. I guess, but if you compare that to Lego in its heyday, you had like 10 sets with 1 to 4 horses in them at all times.
Yeah, I agree. But with the current time now where you can jump on Bricklink or Bricks and Pieces and
that's true.
Pick up 20 or 30. See, back in the day that wasn't even an option.
Right. That's a fair point. That is a fair point. There's a little bit more leeway, I guess, in that situation than there was before for gathering those types of parts.
So wrapping up 96 with Fort Legorado.
Dude, I mean, it's everything you'd want in a Wild West fort, a frontier fortress. It's the Union Soldiers' Fort, straight out of any Wild West movie.
Well, I mean, there's forts like this in Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee.
Yeah,
there's forts all through
South,
the Midwest. They're just exactly the same.
Yeah, North and South Dakota. I drove through there, and there was one that looked exactly like this. Yeah,
which is super cool. Pretty cool set overall.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Vikings base came out. I can't remember when Vikings was released, but it had the same feel because they used the big Palisade wall panels.
Yeah.
Which are, obviously there's a whole shitload of them on Fort Legorado.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I think they showed up first on Lego Wild West.
Maybe they did.
I think they may have. I mean, they've been used fairly heavily throughout Lego, but this might be their first appearance. I am reading a couple comments. Give me a second here. We got, some people talking about a 2.0 Wild West. We got people responding to that, due to the controversial nature of the Wild West theme, they may not ever bring it back. I don't personally find it controversial, but I do know that there are people that do, and Lego is very diplomatic in avoiding conflict. So that is a valid point to some extent. I will say that. So yeah, that's 2.0. Blah. What else? We got Citibank. Yeah. Okay. They're just dropping in different comments about the things we're talking about. The alt builds on the back. Yeah, I know, dude. Let's see, James 5 Westman says the 100 cash actually first came out in 1995. Gas stop shop set 6562. That's awesome. So a year before Wild West hit the shelves, we had the $100 print. That's
and James 5 Westman said the Vikings released in 2005. So the Vikings were the first ones to have the Palisade brick used in a base.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. They definitely did reuse, like you said, the panels. The panels were used in Vikings very heavily in that fort. Mm-hmm. Light gray was printed. The light gray tile was printed, and the Legorado. Yeah, the sign in the town. Yeah, Gold City Junction had the printed sign.
Yeah.
The fort sign was a sticker. Brick Star Official. Thanks for coming in with that. I could have almost sworn it wasn't, but I mean, I haven't used it in quite a while. So, and then Cat Brown says, "Didn't you build a Wild West custom set?" I built a couple. Yeah, you can take a look at those ones on my feed. I think I did 2 for Wild West or 3, but one of them was like a Native American Pueblo people build, and then I think one of them was, I did a small fort and a trading post. But yeah, so you guys can check out that's my addition to Lego Wild West, or my contribution. That's cool. And you can see what those look like. Yeah. But yeah, man, Fort Legorado was amazing. It was fantastic. It was loaded with minifigs. I can't remember how many it came with, but it's a lot. It comes with, I think, all 3 of the bandits. Because Lego is, again, very diplomatic, even in their release of a Wild West theme. And they never showed Native Americans fighting with Union soldiers in any of their depictions of this theme. And so where you might think that would have been happening at that time in history, they made sure to keep those things apart. You could do that on your own time, basically. But like in the fort, it was the bandits jumping around outside as the bad guys.
Yeah. So. It was the bandits versus like the Union soldiers.
It was 3 bandits versus like 12 Union cavalry soldiers.
Yeah, and then
here we go.
The following year comes out with the Indians.
Yeah. So here we go. Here's what the fort looks like. It's got some burps on the side there built up, so it kind of looks like it's in rocky terrain. It's got the big black doors here with the castle style doors. It's got the first appearance of solid red parrots. There's that sign he was talking about there. And yeah, is that a pot? Or no, that's a barrel.
Another one of them giant barrels, man.
And then it's got a very cool gun wagon, which looks great next to your covered ammunition wagon you can get in that smaller set. Comes with these old school like molded flags for some reason. Those are built on a very old design, and they're one piece. Not sure why that happened. But yeah, it's pretty, I mean, honestly, it's a fairly standard, like 4 walls and a gate. Actually, it's 2 gates, but the back of the headquarters is actually pretty cool. There's a card game. I don't know. Do you know about the little card game in the back?
No, I've never had that set. So.
Okay. So there's a card game with a cup on the table, and underneath the floor, they put some turntables with like plates that would move with the cup on top of the table. So if you sat in one chair and turned the cup in one direction, he'd fall into the alley, and you could run out the back like door. But if you turn it the other direction, the other chair falls into the jail cell.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's like this game of like gambling, but like the stakes are you go free or you fall in a jail cell.
Nice, 50-50 shot.
Yeah, so it's a very cool feature. Like, again, the play features on these were kind of through the roof. And there is a hidden compartment out in the rocks in front where you can pull off one of the rocks, and there's like 2 gold coins hiding in the rocks.
Those are always great little secrets.
Yeah, always a lot of fun to build those into old Lego sets. Yeah, Lego Den has a good point. The 1996 all Cowboys, 1997 here come the Indians. Yeah, yep. Again, though, they never depicted them together in any sets. All the Native American sets had just Native Americans, and I think that was very smart on Lego's part because they were walking around on a little bit of a touchy subject. So
yeah.
Even for the time, I think so.
I mean,
but yeah,
there were cool sets. All the sets. I'm jumping into 97, looking at all the Indian sets.
Yeah, so 1997, we did get 3 non-Indian sets with the Bandits wheel gun, the Frontier Patrol, which was a great little. That's a battle pack right there, dude. Yeah. You buy 5 or 6 Frontier Patrols and like 3 or 4 of those wagons, the covered wagons, man. You're good to go. You get the fort with that artillery. Yeah. It's good stuff, man. So those 3 sets came out in 1997. And then every single other set in that wave was the Native American sets.
Yeah. So starting at the top, 2845, Indian Chief.
Yep. Just a little tiny set.
Little tiny set.
Those had a reminiscent of the Fright Nights shell promotion sets, just very small boxes. But they just didn't look as bad, I don't think.
Something that I do like about these is the number 1, the black spears, the black bow and arrow, and the black quiver.
Yeah, I think this is featured on here for the first time in those colors.
Brown. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, so Indian Chief set, kind of a weird looking duck statue.
Sure.
Not really sure what that is.
I think it's supposed to be a totem pole. That is one. Let's focus in on that actually, because that's one thing that I wrote down about the Native American sets. Amazing, all told. Like you get the whole thing. You get a massive group of people. You get multiple teepees, a ton of canoes and things like that. You get a whole landscape. The totem poles were my biggest issue. Because like you said, the duck statue, the funky look, they used a lot of pretty basic bricks at that time. But I think that may have been one part that if we had gotten maybe a molded eagle to put on the top or something that was a little bit more sophisticated for their totem poles, I think that might have been one thing they could have really done a little better. Because you get some funky looking totem poles going on. But
yeah, they get a little wild. They get a little wild for sure.
They get a little wild.
But I mean, I suppose looking at them, it worked at the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they serve a purpose perfectly well. That was just one thing. I'm like, okay, well, what do you got? They didn't release a ton of new parts. Most of it was accessories and then the barrel. Although the stump was a pretty heavily molded piece for these new ones, but. I was like, maybe if they had figured out a little better way to do the totem poles, but again,
this is no bash to the desert Indians, right? But
not at all.
I would have much rather seen, if we were doing this whole combination, I would have rather it had been the Europeans coming over to the New World and seeing the Indian tribes of the East Coast.
Oh, so earlier in history.
Like Pocahontas.
Okay. Interesting.
Period, right?
Well, the Native Americans at that time still looked pretty much the same, but
pretty much.
The colonies
they weren't in the desert. They were in the woods.
Right. They weren't the plains Indians. They were the coastal ones. Which, unfortunately, I do not know many of the names of the tribes and where they lived, though I did study this in high school. But the ones that lived more on the coast when they first showed up. Yeah, that would have been that. Yeah, that would have been kind of cool, more in the French and Indian War era of that time than Wild West cowboys and pioneers and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
It would have been cool. Yeah, I think because you got the last of the Mohicans type. Yeah, with the British soldiers and the French soldiers and the colonists and all of that type of stuff going on. Yeah. Fooling with bricks, man. 3 a.m. This guy. I appreciate your dedication. I'm gonna call you out every time, bro. Every time. You're jumping in on here, man. Ah, man. Good to see you, lads. Good to see you, lads. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining from the UK. Mirko7869 says, oh man, there were some war crimes in my playroom in 1997. I mean, if you take it that direction, yeah, you really dig into it. That's true, unfortunately.
What you do in your own space is up to you.
That's true as well, yeah. Lego Den says, too similar to Imperial from Pirates. I would agree, and at the same time beg to differ, because they did Islanders and they did a bunch of different types of, it would just be an expansion of Pirates. That's where they could have taken Pirates the next year instead of canceling it.
Yeah.
So, like, as much as I'm like, yeah, I mean, we could have got, like, you know, different style, like green coats maybe, and yellow coats with different factions, the Canadian soldiers, and then some of the Queen, the Royal Rangers and such like that. The kind of stuff that I have a set that's exactly from that time era that I designed. It's a little trading post, and it comes with like the Mohawk Indians and 2 or 3 of the Queen's Guard, I think I called them, and they're like green coats, and it's like frontier.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Seeing it.
So yeah, I mean, we're talking about too similar. As much as I respect that, I'm like, we just talked about Star Wars hitting us in the face with the same sets for 20 years. I mean, I don't think Lego would have had a problem with giving us more themes that were similar to ones they were already running.
Right. So it's kind of strange, because you've got the 2846, which is an Indian kayak, which is a brick built little piece of garbage.
It's basically the toboggan ride to hell 2.0.
Right. But then you look down at like Boulder Cliff Canyon or Rapid River, and you actually have the canoe, the actual canoe, the single piece canoe, which was way better use.
You know, I'm just realizing that came out after Islanders, right?
No. The Islanders had a catamaran that they were red.
Right, but the canoe mold, did it come with Islanders first and then Wild West?
I think so.
Okay, that's what I thought, because I was going to mention the canoe here, but I'm pretty sure.
I mean, they may have been like in production at the same time, just different colors.
I think they were in production, or at least very close, but I think the Islanders came out first. John Barwetto says, hey. So I'm here also. Hey, man. He's actually one of my buddies. So I appreciate you joining in and listening to some nerds talk about Lego, man.
Yeah, that's fun.
He actually, John, he's got a nice little stash of Castle Lego stuff and some Star Wars stuff. So, man, I mean, anytime you want to just, off those to me, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Jason will take the Star Wars. I'll take the Castle stuff.
I think a lot of the Castle stuff is not as it's not that old. It's some of the newer stuff.
So it's going to have the right colored pieces then.
That's true. You could scrap it and just use it for builds. Fooling with Brick says, I had to stay awake. Hate missing the lives, even if I don't know anything about Lego Western or about Western Lego. Well, yeah, we're trying to talk about as much as we can about the theme. It's a really cool theme. And one of my top 5. John says, and I will be dead because you would have had to kill me. Okay, well, I guess he's going to hold on to those.
Right. I don't blame you.
Drama, a little bit of drama going on there. All right. So moving down. So we had the funky brick-built kayak. The only reason, I mean, they're not going to they wanted to probably access the $299 price range for that. They did to give kids something little to build. They're not going to put a mold in.
The availability was a promotion on that anyway.
Yeah. So
you couldn't buy it.
It's like those dumb Johnny Thunder like planes that are this big.
Yeah.
Like nobody.
Flying
that's
machine.
not. I tossed that and put the pilot into the set. Like
Johnny
I'm not
Thunder
gonna.
had some. The Fright Nights had some. The Indians got a weird little kayak thing that There's no way that that's a kayak.
It's like, yeah, I don't know. Like that's like more of a modern day looking kayak, to be honest. Like the
Yeah,
small
kind of.
sleek one you'd go like river rafting in.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or
So
whitewater rafting.
what's kind of strange here is, okay, so 2845 Indian Chief, right? Which we already talked about, comes with a little weird duck-looking totem pole. And then you have the Tribal Chief, which is also a small set, but comes with a horse. So the Indian Chief, he comes with some kind of weird bison hat.
That's the medicine man.
And the Tribal Chief actually is like the full feathered rundown.
Wait a minute. Oh, so the set that comes with that's called Indian Chief has a bison hat?
Yeah.
Oh, he's referred to as like the medicine man in all the other kits. So maybe he's a rival chief. He was the medicine man.
I'm not sure. But the set is called Indian Chief 2845, and he's wearing the bison hat, right?
Okay, kind of like my hat, just with horns.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, very close. And then down below you have the Tribal Chief. And this dude, I mean, this guy's got tomahawks, spears with like the feathers hanging off of him, and like I said, the full headdress.
Right, he's decked out.
Feathers. So like he's the guy.
He's the man in charge.
Yeah. The horse, the brown with the white horse with the, pretty decked out. I don't know why he would be Tribal Chief versus, the full on Indian Chief. Like,
yeah, you'd think the names would be reversed, because the Tribal Chief sounds more like maybe a small time, kind of like he's got his group of guys and he's not quite the leader of the whole thing. Yeah, interesting. Well, Lego with names, sometimes I think they were shooting in the dark with some of them.
They were. But the Tribal Chief set, that's a really cool set. You got a snake, a horse, a chief, some weapons, a little green bush. Which is
the spiky tumbleweed bushes, were those first, or did they just come on some pirate? They came on the Enchanted Island, so they must have came out earlier.
To even correct you even further, 1993 came out in Dark Dragon's Den.
Dude, you're right. Totally right. Yeah. So those are a good few years before Wild West.
Yeah, and I like those bushes.
I like them too. Wild West did feature like a secondary piece you could put underneath. I don't know. Is that a newer piece for this?
I think so. Yeah, there was a red one, and I think there's like a tan bush, but then the base piece was red, I think.
Yeah, the red ones. Well, no, so the red ones were AquaZone. You see them featured here in some AquaZone sets.
Yeah,
like coral. But I think the green ones were like, the base to make the bushes bigger, so you had some variation, which is actually very cool because you can have height difference.
Mm-hmm.
So for terrain builders, that's big time.
Well, I mean, I do height difference with the little mini trees, and I just take the 2x2 round brick, brown, and just stack them. I just stack them as high as I want the pine tree to be. Yeah,
I like that. That is actually a technique that Lego used in like one or two sets. Except for they used the old castle door hinges. So they have the little knobs on them, and they look like cut off branches, and they like staggered them.
Like a pine tree.
Yeah.
Like a pine tree where it's got the little...
Yep. It was pretty clever for the time, because that's an older set.
Wasn't that like a canyon cabin thing?
Yeah.
River,
it was like...
River escape cabin or something like that. Had one of those little bridges on it.
It had a bridge,
and then the river on the plate.
I don't remember the name, but it's close to that. And it has those like 3 or 4 of them built up behind it. And it has... I
loved that set.
It's such a cool set.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's a great set. It comes with a little raft, I think.
Yeah, the imagination that came with that set was so vast. But then when you actually built it, you're like, there needs to be more.
It's just, it is a smaller set. Though it comes with a very unique water-based plate.
Yeah, which was cool. And we both knew about it. So it obviously was up there in the range.
It made an impact, yeah. It was definitely, it was like kind of a sub-theme of city. I don't think it was the extreme team stuff yet, but it was getting to that point.
So I can't remember who made the point. It was Brickstar Official. stating that there was different shields.
Yeah, 2 different shields.
Yeah, so the medicine man, Indian chief, buffalo hat.
Dude, yeah.
Okay. In the Rain Dance Ridge set, which is set 6718, he has a shield, and it's literally the bison hat with the helmets on the shield itself.
Okay.
But if you look at the tribal chief, which we just talked about, he has a horse. It's a horse running on his shield.
Right.
Which I don't know if there's a significant difference between the two, but there are two variations.
I think that's a creative element that Lego added that can be definitely used if you wanted to have 2 distinct factions within the Native American Lego sets. Because especially that the shield has the hat and the horns on it, you could totally split up the 2 factions and make the buffalo, tribe and then the horse tribe, which is awesome. They were all combined in most of the kits with shields from both, as far as I know, on all of the sets themselves, kind of mixed up. But that's a very cool distinction. A good eye there, man.
It does. It adds the confusion. Yes. And then the Lego Den Rocky River Retreat was the set name.
Was that
that was
Rocky
the one
River
we were just
Retreat.
talking about with the little bridge and the water plate?
Oh,
Rocky River Retreat.
It had like a little mountain kind of built up in the back.
Yeah, it's great.
Dude, check that out, guys. Google that one, because something about that set really captures, I don't know, something. There's something about like you said, both of us remember that set.
Yeah, it's cool.
There's something about that set. I like it.
Yeah, I agree. So I mentioned the Rain Dance Ridge. Just to review that briefly before I continue the conversation about the shields differences. You had the tree stump. The tree stump was introduced there in that set. You had the little brown tree stump, which was the really cool part. Yeah, a fairly decent little totem pole that looks kind of good. Yeah, and then Buffalo Bill again over here, riding a horse,
totally
rocking the Buffalo Bill shield.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So, not to go too much further into that, but then you got set 6746, which is the Chief's teepee. Okay. Yeah. So if you look at the Chief's teepee, the teepee itself has the horse printed on it. But if you look at the cover image, the cover of the box art, you've got the horse shield in the background, and then you have the buffalo hat, the bison head, on the shield in the foreground. So they're both at the same grounds. Yeah. At this point. So I don't know if they would necessarily be separate factions, or if there was just like, these are the guys that go hunt buffalo and these are the guys that ride horses. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I like that. Yeah. I don't know a ton about this and how it would actually work. And I think Lego was, again, just like everything else, they treated this the same way. They simplified things a lot. They kind of viewed it through some rose-colored glasses, obviously. You're not going to be getting scalpings and all of the atrocities that happened during this time in history, but you do get, a more simplified, boiled-down version of maybe what this could have looked like. And so I get that. They could either been 2 different separate tribes that came together under a peace treaty of some sort. Or there were the hunters and that group of people that had that logo on their shield, and then there were the people who gathered horses and were part of that.
I mean, really, honestly, they don't depict them fighting at all. Any of the Indians they're not fighting each other.
No,
not at
really.
all. Right? It's more of the whole second set, the 1997 of Western, is almost like this is what life was like. This was just them doing their thing in their world and their way.
Very, actually, quite peaceful. Yeah.
A very peaceful, just like living style, I guess. With the various styles of living, and you create your own adventures within the Indian sets in themselves.
I think so. Yeah. There's a lot of there's a lot of little elements that add adventure to each one of the kits, like falling stones and things like that, and traps. And I think someone Brickstar asked about the snakes, and yes, they were introduced here as well. So they had like a little bit of element of danger there, but for the most part, yeah, I totally agree. You've got little campfires, you've got the whole like life just on display as like this depiction of what Native American life may have.
How cool would it have been to have a bison animal?
Dude, that would have been awesome.
That would have been badass.
Like you could, yeah, like a herd maybe. Like you could have even done like a set with maybe one or two, and then a little baby one, and picked up like a bunch of those, you know, with one like warrior on a horse.
That would have been cool. That would have been cool because that was a native animal back in the day.
That would have been very actually accurate to a lot of what was going on back then. Yeah. That would have been awesome, dude. Well, and I want to say, in the same spirit of the Native American Lego sets, I built a Pueblo village, which is a group of Native Americans that lived closer to actually where I live, more this direction, Arizona, I believe, type areas. And they lived up on these incredible cliff dwellings that were carved into the sides of these giant, like, red rocks with these little dangerous pathways, and like little like logs with notches cut out of them. I remember looking at a book with some of these depictions of their buildings. Yeah, back when I was a kid, and I was like, these are incredible. And
those are built in like a mesa style desert versus just like the sand and the wasteland. It's all the mountains and the ridges. Yeah, so like what? Arizona, parts of Nevada, the tip of Oklahoma. There's a lot. Yeah. There's quite a few of those areas out there.
Yeah. So I built a whole village in close to the style of the old Lego Wild West. And again, that's on my feed. You guys can take a look at it if you're interested in that. But like, yeah, I did as much research as I could to kind of depict close to what those dwellings may have looked like and stuff like that. And yeah, man, I love it. I think it's so cool. And I would love to see more representation in Lego with different factions, different groups of people and stuff like this, because I think it was pretty, for the most part, done pretty well. I think they could probably have done better research on maybe some of the like war paint and emblems that they actually had, but that's not hard to do. And they could totally bring stuff like this back. And I could see that as being a phenomenal representation of a bunch of like different people groups. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I think what they did is pretty good though.
Oh, I'm not bashing on that at all. I think they did a phenomenal job, especially for the time it was made. Like, people didn't care about that kind of stuff at all back then. So, but yeah, I think what I'm saying is, I think it could be done well again if done correctly. That's all.
Yeah. So looking ahead, I'm now looking at Boulder Cliff Canyon, which is the reverse of the one that I just talked about. It's got the falling boulder and the teepee, but this teepee's got Buffalo Bill on the side.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So what you got? Were we just talking about Rapid River Village or the Chief's teepee?
The Chief's teepee has the horse.
Okay.
And then Boulder Cliff Canyon has the
bison.
Rock. Yeah, the big boulder that like falls off the edge, and the spinning log walkway.
Dude, I love that. Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. That's super cool.
Yeah, they did a good job.
And the best totem pole yet in this set right here.
Okay. I don't remember quite what it looks like. I do remember that there
were a lot of the 1 by 3 slopes, the 33 angle. It looks pretty good. Cool. It's a little closer to the Islanders, style.
Okay, yeah, with the slopes that go up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. I think they look, they are a little chunky, I think, in all of them, but I think they did a good job for the parts they had available without, again, molding new parts. So.
And then again, that printed water plate.
Yep. Great printed water plate.
The curved water.
So with all of these Wild West sets, you get at least 2, if not, I think 3 of the road ones with the wagon wheels printed into them. And is it 2 of the water base plates or 1?
I think it's just 1.
Well, what does
No,
it's 2. Because Rapid River has 1.
Yeah, Rapid River also has 1.
Yeah.
Which is
So that's
basically it's a remake of the flat plate that was used in the Islanders set, but the Islanders had more of like the palm fronds that were sticking out over the water, versus these are like rough bush and like rock, sand rock sticking out into the.
yeah.
So the prints are different, same plate, but the print is different. That's all.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's been the same plate on all those. It's just different. It's just a different print is all.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I thought you said the two different ones from the two different native villages had different prints on them.
Oh, no.
My bad.
No, that's
You're
the
right.
same one between the two, yeah.
Yep. Let's see. Yeah, so that both of those. What features does that? It's mostly the teepees out front, right? But does that one also, the Rapid River has? Oh, the Rapid River has a little waterfall, doesn't it, with the snakes that fall down it?
Yeah,
I think that's going on. Yeah, water snakes. So that's cool. I mean, here's the thing: you could totally separate out your Native Americans, have the Buffalo guys in one of those canyon villages, and have the horse guys in the other one. If you wanted.
You could, because then when we get into the Rapid River Village, they've got both. They got both teepees, one with the horse and then one with Buffalo Bill.
Okay, cool.
I'm not sure why I'm sticking with Buffalo Bill. It just sounds right.
Well, Buffalo Bill's 100% a white dude that was like a performer.
It was also a football team.
So, but I mean, yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
He's over there. Yeah, so that guy.
All mixed up, but between the whole theme, like you got two of the horse tents and two of the buffalo tents, so you could mix and match.
It's funny you brought up that. Yes, to close that point out, that's totally correct. And it's funny you brought up the buffalo mold because and now that they're talking about it in the comments, I remember this. James 5 Westman, I think Brickstar said he thought he saw a picture of a prototype at one point, and James 5 Westman's confirming that they did have the mold made, and you can find it in Google Images. So
I saw that comment in there.
Yeah. So, and that now that they're bringing it up, it does ring a bell that I have seen that before, and it would have been quite a addition to the Wild West theme, because they didn't really make any new animals except the snakes.
Yeah, I'm about tired of this not having animals crap, dude. Like, we need to get like a global petition going saying, Lego, make more animals.
I would say to the point,
or just give us a list of 100 animals and just produce them.
Yeah, I think they have like a few. They definitely have more than they did, like with all the animal rescue kits for the savannah. Recently, they brought back a lot of animals and brought out some new ones, which is nice.
I know, but like, I mean, just not to go too deep into it, but how cool would it be to have like a kangaroo and a giraffe?
Right.
Instead of another... not like Duplo, not Friends, Lego minifigs, right?
Yeah.
The same, hollow black eyes, across the board.
Yeah, because I mean, even with the release of those Savannah sets, the African Plains sets or whatever, the animal rescue ones, they really just remade like 3 animals and then added a lion. So I'm really happy we got a lion. That's so cool, because I'd always wanted a lion as a kid, so that was awesome to see. But yeah, they did elephants, giraffes, elephants and alligators came back. I'm like, dude, we've seen these before.
What would be really cool is to see that lion molded in all light bluish gray.
Yeah.
That's
dude. Like they did with the hippogriff from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Although I think he has dark gray wings. But yeah, you can use that as a regal statue. That'd be so cool.
That would be.
Make an ultimate Crusader castle with like the lions out front as statues, dude.
That'd be dope.
That'd be so cool. Let's see. We have a couple cool comments. Fooling with Brick says, I need to defo get a few more of these sets for sure. Yeah, you do. They are super cool. I have every set from both themes.
Somebody said Noah's Ark.
Well, here's the theme.
Just give me Noah's Ark, and we'll call it a day.
Just get the Noah's Ark. You have every animal.
You got them all.
You got the rafts, the snakes, the birds, the elephants. Put them all in Noah's Ark.
2 of each on a ship. Make
$100 set. Maybe $150, maybe a little more, because you want all the animals. Put them all in the Noah's Ark. Done.
Right.
What is happening? Why? Where is my Lego Noah's Ark? Oh my word. Let's see. Lego needs to make the real life 25th Bruce Jaws. Oh, like from Jaws. Oh, 25 foot. Dude.
Yeah. The sharks that they've produced are kind of weak. Granted, the newer ones are pretty tough looking.
The newer ones are, but they're like, I like the original mold a lot.
What about that version that came with that one pirate set? Can't remember the name of it.
Oh, the Pirates of the Caribbean set?
Yeah, with the ghost pirate.
Okay, like that shark was pretty badass.
That shark was dope, dude.
With the ribs, the zombie shark.
Yeah, it had like half its face and there was like chunks missing out of its body. That was dope.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Let's see, we got, I see a saber-toothed tiger, a Lego animal, and the other day, I didn't even know such a thing. Yeah, so Brickstar Official responded to Fooling with Bricks. It was the Arctic theme, and I think there was a Black Panther from the Jungle City theme. So, like, we've gotten them, they've dripped out one or two per theme, per sub-theme of Lego City for the most part. We just got squirrels for the first time, in Lego City.
I love the squirrels.
I do too.
I got quite a few of both of them. I'm missing the gray one. I don't have any of the gray ones.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean they do drip them in one at a time to Lego kits. But yeah, I would love a set that featured a ton of animals. Let's see. True North Brick says they did put a big one in the research vessel. That's about 3 times the size of the regular shark. Is that the new, like, with the diver stuff?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that the new mold of the shark is large. It's quite a bit larger than the old ones. I think the old ones did have a fairly mean look to them, though. They had those pointed noses and those little teeth. I think they look, but they're small.
In reality, like if you're thinking that a minifig is 6 foot tall, right, or 5 foot tall, right?
Yeah.
Those sharks aren't very big. They're like
but most sharks aren't that big. I mean,
I know, but when you're talking about a shark attack. Nobody's talking about a little one that came up and nibbled on your leg a little bit. We're talking about one that rips the damn thing off completely. Right?
You're talking about
like Jaws. In Jaws, right?
Yeah.
And in Jaws, they're like 20, 25 feet long. Big daddy.
Sure.
Great white.
The Meg. You got the Meg. Yeah. Well, and actually, I'm not right actually on that, because there's 2 different molds now for sharks. Because there is it's like a refitted old shark kind of for the Pirates Bay set, remember? It's like small like the old one, but it's got like new like lines kind of curved into it and stuff like that. But then there is that larger mold for the Pirates of the Caribbean one and the research vessel. So they're kind of mixing it up a little bit. Yeah, so Fooling with Brick says, I want a goat for when I buy the T-Rex Breakout. Yeah, why is there not a goat on that new T-Rex Breakout set where the scene in the movie specifically included a goat?
I know. It should have a goat.
I don't understand, man.
That would eliminate the goat problem of the goat being $50 or whatever.
Well, and did you see the new Thor goat boat that just came out?
I did, but they're brick built.
Yeah, they look funky, dude.
I know, and they've got these weird little like faces printed on like tiles that like make you kind of like, does that thing want to take me behind closed doors right now?
They're freaky looking, dude.
They're all like, they look. I think one's got like their tongue sticking out, like.
Yeah, they look demented. Demented is a good word for those goats.
Yeah.
Brickstar Official says they ugly. Hoping Jaws Ideas is picked tomorrow for the review. Yeah. Let's make a Jaws Lego set. I mean, it's got 10,000 votes. Let's make it happen. I wanted to bring up a couple things about Wild West before we call it a night here, if that's cool. Because I did dig around a little bit on the internet. I found some interesting stuff. This theme featured a couple, that Rose Art promotion that Heather's Bricks actually has and talked about. It was the 3D puzzle playmat.
Yeah.
And I guess there was also a photo frame that had like minifigs built around it and stuff, and you could put a little photo in it. Really random. And they were also featured in 2 Lego games at the time, Lego Racers. again, I bring it up every time we talk about these old themes. But and Lego chess. It was actually the cover of the box for Lego chess, and it had the Native Americans and the Wild West guys on it. So that was cool. There were 2 audiobooks, I believe, in German. They weren't, the names of the books weren't even translated on the internet. I put it into a translator. So roughly translated, the names of these 2 audio adventures were Wanted Poster for the Bounty Hunter and The Wrong General. So that's interesting. I don't know what they were about.
What?
But those were the translations of the titles of these audiobooks. Yeah. Let's see. What else did I pull up on this that was interesting? We already covered that the Native American sets didn't feature any non-Native American minifigs. If we didn't, then that's true. There were 2 Wild West accessory packs that came out. And man, they were loaded, including the golden bugles and coins and like all of it, dude.
Yeah, very good stuff.
Yeah. I will say this was not the first time Lego did Wild West. In 1975, there were some Wild West sets, including Wild West Scene, Cowboys, and a Train. They were done in the Legoland style minifigs with no arms. I don't know if you've seen them. They look like prototypes, but they were released as minifigs. And they just like...
No, I've never seen that.
But interestingly enough, the Cowboy Hat mold came from them. And so the Cowboy Hat mold was not a new Cowboy Hat mold.
Oh, really? That's cool.
It's from the 70s. So that's kind of interesting.
It's the same mold, huh?
Same mold, yeah. We did get a new mold. It's the like soldier's hat, and I know there's a specific historical term for this hat, but it's the one that comes down in front and has the brim.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is a new mold for this theme, and it was used in like 5 other Lego themes afterwards in tons of different colors, including Indiana Jones. And then finally, the Lone Ranger was a licensed Lego Wild West theme that came out in 2013. And I was working at a Lego store at that time. And
That's
the
pretty
manager,
cool.
yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Bad pay, but a lot of fun promotions and discounts. So, but yeah, I was talking to the Lego manager at the time there. He said that, was it Warner Bros. Who made that, or Disney?
It's Disney.
Disney came to them and said, "Hey man, we're gonna do this Wild West Lone Ranger set or movie. Like, what do you guys think about making Lego sets?" And apparently, according to my manager, he said that Lego had already had prototypes of Lego Wild West sets in the works that were planning to be released around the same time, and they changed them all over to Lone Ranger.
Ooh.
Yeah,
because they got pretty gnarly in those Lone Ranger sets, like with the prints and the pieces. I mean,
but think about what we would have got if it had stayed inside Lego's own theme. Maybe we would have got those damn buffaloes.
We could have.
So I was super disappointed when I heard that they switched it to a licensed product instead of being an original in-house theme, which they were apparently planning to roll out in 2013, which was surprising.
That's pretty interesting. That's actually interesting information.
Brickstar Official says Bounty Hunter, Wrong General, and Buffalo Bill. Yeah. We gotta get off that Buffalo Bill thing, man.
Right.
So you're right though. I mean, we did get some really cool stuff in the Lego sets based on Lone Ranger, including a Wild West train with a brick-built Gatling gun.
Yeah, that stagecoach in the Lone Ranger, phenomenal.
It's very nice.
Absolutely phenomenal.
It's very large, and it kind of dwarfs the 2 little buildings you get in the town scene, but it is a very nice build. The fun fact about that stagecoach is it doesn't show up in the movie at all. There's no stagecoach scene whatsoever.
Yeah, and I wouldn't know because I've never watched it.
Yeah, so I watched it. It's probably the most violent PG-13 movie I've ever seen. And I'm surprised Lego went with Lego kits for this. I mean, we got a dude that gets his heart cut out in the reflection of a knife on screen. And a dude that got a beam, like his head gets smashed by a beam, like gone. in the movie on screen, and Lego still decided to make Lego sets based on it.
It's cool. I mean, well, I mean, you know, I mean, Disney did
Not to
all
mention-
the Pirates of the Caribbean too. You know,
Not to mention a massacre of a bunch of Native Americans on horses by a Gatling gun, just like the Last Samurai, almost a shot-for-shot Last Samurai scene, just Native Americans. I'm like, dude, what are you doing, Lego?
I didn't know that.
It's rough, dude. It is a rough movie. Anyway, just a side note. I like to poke fun at Lego, saying like, you guys, look at what you did. Don't pretend you don't like build things that aren't violent.
I know.
I do it all the time. I got a whole list of memes. What was that? Sorry.
Same old story.
Yeah, it's fun times though. So yeah, we did get technically a Wild West theme in 2013 that featured a lot of really, really quite cool stuff. Although the teepees were plastic, which was terrible. They were like
Yeah, I didn't like the plastic stuff.
Plastic teepees were bad. I didn't like that. Most of the other stuff in the sets was pretty nice. We got another buffalo guy.
Pretty intensely designed though too. I mean, with printed and everything, it was a pretty nice piece.
Oh, going back to like you were saying earlier when I cut you off and talked about how violent the movie was. You were talking about the designs themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, the printed pieces in that are pretty phenomenal. I actually really, in the Stagecoach set, I really dig the two cowboys that you get in that set.
Oh yeah, dude.
They're like, the legs are printed with the what are they called?
Oh, the chaps.
The chaps, yeah.
The chaps, yeah.
They're printed with leather chaps on their legs and belts, you know, and the full shirt and scarf and overcoat. It's good. Those are good.
They look great. I do agree. They had new handgun molds. They're much more streamlined looking. They look really nice. I have a handful of those. I tried to get the whole theme when it came out, but I totally missed I think I missed about two. I think I missed 3 of the sets out of 7 or 8, so I only really got about half of them. But the gold mine, the silver mine, is what James Fife Westman's talking about in the comments. He said it's
that's a pretty cool set.
Yeah, a beautiful set. He says he has it on display right now. It's
introducing that Boulder look that they depict in imagery in all the Western sets, but in this set it's built in the tan and the dark tan, the light bluish gray, dark bluish gray mix.
And it's
probably could have gone into some dark orange.
Yeah,
some of the orange.
Get some strata where they dug in. That would have been cool. I like that.
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool.
Put that away in my head if I ever do a Lego Wild West mine. I'll credit you, Brick Monarch's idea.
You're welcome.
True North Brick says, agreed, the Stagecoach is excellent. Yeah, it was funny because that's what we talked about at the store. That was one of the top sellers of the sets, and it never was featured in the movie. So it was just funny because everyone wanted it, but it just was not in the movie.
Well, I mean, if you let's be honest, if you were into Wild West, you watched Maverick a time or two.
Yeah,
right?
Or Tombstone.
Yeah, or Tombstone and Maverick. They were all up in them Stagecoach wagons. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, no, it fits perfectly. And I think it was just cut from the movie.
In a period, it's a wonderful set, whether it was in the movie or not. It was a great set.
No, and I agree, and I think I think those Lego sets are much better than the actual movie, to be honest, because they do give you a little bank. They give you a sheriff's office, I believe, or a saloon, actually. I can't remember if they have a sheriff's office. I think they have a sheriff's office and a bank, so maybe not a saloon. But yeah, those sets are really cool. And then the gold mine, they have a Native American, 3 Native American sets or 2, and then the train. Dude, the train is awesome. The train looks
looked good.
Yeah.
They kind of I can't remember what the show is. Crystal and I watched it, but it was in the Dakotas.
Yeah.
Early on.
Okay.
And it was a mining town.
Oh,
and I can't remember what it was. What was it, hon? She knows. She's watching it on the other side of this wall right here. She knows what it is. If I say Swidgen, she'll know.
Is it Hell on Wheels?
No, it wasn't Hell on Wheels.
Okay. I enjoyed Hell on Wheels quite a bit.
No, it was Black Hills or something crazy like that.
Interesting. It's pretty
Deadwood.
hardcore.
It was Deadwood. She said it was
Deadwood.
Deadwood. Yeah, so Deadwood would have been awesome. So this has that like same feel, you know.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
like I said, instead of it being in the desert, it was in like the more wooded mountain, you know, areas like where they were mining gold, and you know there was still Indians running around and lots of stagecoaches going back and forth.
Got it.
You know.
Yeah.
That
Cool.
that whole thing is a cool vibe.
It's a good vibe. I totally agree. It's got a cool vibe. The rocky, the kind of more Rocky Mountain area, right? Well, no, I guess not the Rocky. The Rocky. Yeah, with the tall pine trees and like the gold mines.
Well, that's the Black Hills in the Dakotas.
Okay, yeah. Dude, and I think you're right.
Brickstar also says 1883. That's the prequel to Yellowstone.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I haven't watched that yet, man. But we're gonna get into that soon.
So in addition to Lone Ranger, there was the Wild West Saloon that came out in 2019 in the Eiffel Designer Program. It's not available from Lego anymore, but you can find it on Bricklink and eBay if you wanted to buy it aftermarket. You could probably also get a parts list. It's pretty standard pieces. Great looking little Wild West saloon. It's got like an interior done as well. I don't think it came with minifigs though.
No, there was no minifigs, but it was good. I mean, I can't remember who built that, but it was pretty good. And I mean, I was into that whole sort of thing.
I
like that saloon reminds me of the saloons that they were building in Hell on Wheels when they were starting new towns.
Yeah. That was like the first thing they would always build.
Yeah, that was the first thing they'd build was the saloon on the corner.
gotta get your whiskey. Yeah. We have someone. Hello. Thank you for joining. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you are just joining, we're probably wrapping it up here in a few minutes, but we have been talking about Lego Wild West, or Lego Western.
And extensions.
And then now we're talking about what came after, including the Lone Ranger and then a couple one-off Lego Eiffel Designer Program sets. The Sheriff's Safe that came out last year is a Wild West themed build. Apparently it's pretty cool. It has a working little combination and such on it.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool, but that's one of those things that's more of just a shelf piece.
Yeah. Personally, I am not a big fan of things like the piano, the typewriter, some of the larger everyday objects built out of Lego. I see a novelty in it, but it's not something that's appealing to me as a fan who grew up in the 90s with all the minifig based stuff.
Well, I think aside from the fun playable adventure themes, the sophistication of the Lego brick and how they're used in the phenomenal ways that they are to build these types of things, the typewriter, the globe, you know, the ship in the bottle.
I do have the ship in the bottle.
Yeah, all of those are great. Like I mean, another 20 years from now, you could buy all these sets and have a room where it was just display pieces only that had no minifigs.
Yeah,
all built with Lego.
It almost feels more like art pieces.
Yeah, I mean,
which is fine.
That's essentially what they are.
Yeah. It, again, not my cup of tea, but I do appreciate the technique that, like you said, you mentioned. That's a good point.
And you know, we all have our own opinion, but in my opinion, those are just like a no-brainer. You buy them no matter what they cost.
Okay,
buy them and build them and put them on the shelf.
Got it. Fair enough. But yeah, so the safe kind of went along in that style of build. Mm-hmm. They toned it down the offensive factor, I suppose, by removing the pistol that originally came in the design, and I think they replaced it with a stick of dynamite, which doesn't seem like it's that much more or less violent than a handgun.
Yeah, a gun puts a hole in you like this. A piece of dynamite blows your head clean off the top of your body.
So I could be wrong. I don't know if that's the part they replaced with the dynamite or the dynamite came in it or not. I'd have to go and look at the set again, and I just briefly checked it out. But I do remember reading an article about them switching that out, which, whatever. And then here's a fun little thing. On the third wave of the Designer Eiffel program, which is becoming more and more relevant as more people talk about it, and Castle in the Forest burned down the forest, basically. Like what I see, that was pretty good.
That was good, Jason.
I'm getting better. The third wave of crowdfunding is coming up. I don't know if they didn't put the dates on there or I couldn't find them, but it is going to be happening. It hasn't happened yet. And inside that third wave of funding for these builds is a set called Brick West Studios. So if you haven't seen this yet, go check it out. It's a movie style set piece of a Wild West, like spaghetti Western setup. It comes with a saloon that is very similar to the one we got in 2019, as well as a windmill, a water tank like from Wild Wild West, and a little porta potty or outhouse. Porta potty outhouse. And then I think like a movie camera and like a little movie van and stuff like that. The interior of this saloon is insane. Go check it out.
In this set that you're talking about?
In this set I'm talking about, this Brick Studio one, or the Brick West Studios set.
Is that on Bricklink right now?
It's on Bricklink right now. It will become available to crowdfund soon. And it's the third wave of crowdfunding for this whole full designer program. So check it out if you want a Wild West style Lego set that comes with a ton of stuff in it that is Lego Wild West based. I would go fund it, get it made, and you guys could get a hold of one of these things. And really check out the interior of that saloon. It's fun, like fantastic. They put everything.
Where's that featured at on Bricklink? Jason,
I had to Google a full designer program wave 3 or something like that, and it popped up and took me to a link that was inside of Bricklink. But I couldn't find it directly from the Bricklink website, like homepage. Okay. Yeah. And that's about what I have for Wild West. I mean, top 5 themes for me. It's right up there with Castle, Space, Pirates, and Adventurers. I think it's phenomenal. I did want to mention one last little detail. There's a guy that was building Lego Wild West sets in like around 2008. I've run into his work a couple times online. I think his username was Brickminer. And he did an expansion in the style of the old Wild West from the 90s. And he expanded basically the town, the Gold City Junction town, and added a post office, an undertaker's, a governor's mansion, a courthouse, a snake oil salesman with his little like wagon and all his little bottles of snake oil. He added a train done in the 90s style. And he also did 2 haunted ghost town Western sets called Shiverdale. Check this guy out. Cool. It's cool. And he had set numbers and everything with the logos. He did kind of like what I've done for Castle. He did for Wild West. And it's phenomenal. And you can find his work on Brickshelf and Eurobricks. And just, if you Google Wild West Lego, it comes up in the image searches. But check him out, man. If you like nostalgic Lego stuff and you're into Lego Wild West, this guy like brought it to the next level, like 100%. So I wanted to give him a shout out. I don't know if he's still building or if he's online anymore or anything about him. But that was about all I could find was.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to give him a little shout out and share his work kind of at the end of this thing. So yeah, it felt like it was noteworthy. So.
Well, I don't believe that we've discussed what we're going to talk about next week.
At all.
I think we'll just, not at all. So I think what we'll do is we'll just figure it out, and it'll be a surprise next week.
Sounds good, man. Well, as always, it was a pleasure talking to you about any Lego themes, but especially fun to talk about vintage or retired Lego themes here on Let's Talk About Lego. So thank you, Andrew, for joining me tonight. And
you bet, man. We talk about Lego every Monday for the next decade.
Yeah. Well, there's enough. There's enough out there to do that.
Minus holidays.
Minus
and if there's a holiday, it'll be Tuesday.
There you go. See you later, Fooling with Bricks. She says, nice one, gents. Enjoyed this week's live stream. I appreciate it, sir. And Brickstar Official, who stuck with us to the very end, all the way through, probably jumped on here, one of the first people to jump on. Cool stream, guys, he says. We appreciate it, sir. You are
thank you.
You're one of You're one of the hardcore guys here with us. And James Westman, actually, as well. James 5 Westman, thank you. Great chat. Can't wait for the next week. So thanks.
We'll pick something fun. We'll pick something fun to talk about.
Absolutely. We always try to keep it something that we enjoy talking about, but we'll go into all kinds of stuff. So
for sure.
All right, man.
All right, Jason.
It was a pleasure.
Yep. Have a good night. And everybody
have a good night, everyone.
Talk to y'all later.
See you later, guys.